Here is something your doctor has probably never said to you out loud. When you sneeze 11 times in a row during pollen season, when your eyes swell shut and your nose runs and your throat feels like someone rubbed sandpaper on it from the inside, your immune system is not malfunctioning. It is working perfectly. Every single thing happening inside your body during an allergic reaction is a deliberate, precisely engineered response that your ancestors relied on to survive. The swelling, the sneezing, the mucus, the itching, all of it is intentional. All of it has a purpose. The purpose just has nothing to do with pollen. Because here is the thing nobody tells you while you're standing in the pharmacy aisle staring at a wall of antihistamines trying to figure out which one won't make you fall asleep at your desk. Your immune system is not reacting to spring. It is reacting to something far older and far more dangerous than spring. Something that, for the vast majority of mammalian history, was one of the leading causes of death. And understanding what that thing actually was changes everything about how you think about your own body. Because you are not allergic to pollen, you are allergic to the wrong century. The most successful immune molecule in history. 220 million years ago, something happened in the immune system of a small, furry, probably terrified mammal. A gene duplicated, an accident, completely random. And from that one accident came a protein called immunoglobulin E, IgE. Now here is the first thing that should make you stop and pay attention. Birds have immune systems. Reptiles have immune systems. Fish have immune systems. Every vertebrate that has ever existed has some form of immune defense. But IgE is exclusively mammalian. It does not exist in birds. It does not exist in reptiles. It does not exist in fish. It exists only in mammals, in every mammal from platypuses to whales to you, and it appeared before the three main branches of mammals had even diverged from each other, before primates and rodents and hoofed animals had split into separate lineages, before any of that. Which means IgE is older than most of the animal groups we think of as ancient. And it has been conserved, kept, protected, maintained by evolution across 220 million years, across ice ages, across mass extinctions, across the complete transformation of every ecosystem on Earth, multiple times over. Evolution is ruthless about dead weight. Anything that doesn't earn its keep gets deleted. The appendix has been slowly disappearing for millions of years because it costs resources without providing much benefit. Body hair is thinning. The muscles that let our ancestors wiggle their ears are mostly vestigial. IgE is not vestigial. IgE is everywhere, in every mammal, fully functional. Conserved with near-perfect fidelity for longer than the dinosaurs have been extinct. Whatever IgE does, it was worth it, every time. So what does it do? IgE is an alarm molecule. When your immune system encounters something it has flagged as dangerous, IgE binds to that threat and triggers something called mast cells. Mast cells are small and they are distributed throughout your body, specifically concentrated at entry points. Your nose, your airways, your gut lining, your skin. Think of them as tripwires. When IgE fires, the mast cells detonate. They release histamine and a cascade of other molecules that produce a very specific set of effects: swelling, mucus, sneezing, itching, vomiting, muscle contractions. That list is not random. Each response does something specific. Swelling seals off tissue, creating a physical barrier. Mucus traps particles. Sneezing and vomiting expel things from your body at high velocity. Itching makes you scratch, which physically removes surface threats. Muscle contractions in the gut push things through faster than they would otherwise move. This is not chaos. This is a coordinated eviction. The question everything in this video is building toward is what your immune system evolved to evict? The answer is worms. The answer is worms. Not metaphorically, not as a simplified version of something more complicated. Literally, worms. Parasitic helminths, hookworms, tapeworms, roundworms, flukes. Organisms that enter your body, often through your skin, your gut, your drinking water, and then attempt to establish permanent residence inside you. They are extraordinarily good at this. Some species of tapeworm can survive inside a human gut for 20 years. They suppress immune responses to avoid detection. They lay thousands of eggs. A hookworm infection in a young child, sustained over years, causes malnutrition, developmental delays, and in severe cases, death. And this was not a rare scenario. For most of human history, for most of mammalian history, parasitic worms were a near universal presence. The evidence that IgE evolved specifically to fight them is some of the most compelling in immunology. When researchers give anti-parasitic drugs to people in regions where helminth infections are still endemic, then measure their IgE levels before and after, IgE drops dramatically because the system that was running at full capacity to fight an active threat suddenly has nothing to fight. When wild wolves are compared to domestic dogs living in households, the wolves have IgE levels anywhere from 100 to 200 times higher than the dogs. Not because wolves have a more aggressive immune system in some general sense, because wolves have parasites. The dogs mostly don't. Here is the detail that makes this concrete in a way that's hard to shake. The specific molecular actions of the IgE response map almost perfectly onto the specific biology of parasitic infection. Swelling at the gut wall physically dislodges worms that have attached to the lining. Increased mucus production makes the gut surface less hospitable for larvae trying to penetrate tissue. Muscle contractions accelerate transit time, moving contents through before larvae have time to establish themselves. The IgE system is not a general-purpose alarm. It is a purpose-built parasite eviction system that was so effective it has been kept running at full power for 220 million years. But this is only half the story, because it turns out IgE had a second job. For a long time, the parasite explanation was considered the dominant theory for why IgE exists. But researchers kept running into a problem. The IgE response is fast, faster than you need it to be for parasites, which take time to establish. The system reaches full activation within minutes of exposure. Parasites don't kill you in minutes, but there is something that does. Venom. Snakes have been co-evolving with small mammals for over 200 million years, almost exactly as long as IgE has existed. That parallel timeline is not a coincidence that researchers ignored. It's one that a group of scientists decided to test directly. What they found: IgE provides specific, measurable protection against venom. When a mammal is exposed to a small, sublethal dose of venom, a glancing bite, a sting that doesn't fully inject, a venomous plant brush, the immune system generates IgE antibodies specific to the proteins in that venom. A subsequent exposure to a small dose then triggers mast cell activation, which releases enzymes that literally digest venom components before they reach the bloodstream in dangerous concentrations. The mast cells release molecules called chymases and tryptases, venom-degrading enzymes. Researchers have found evolutionary precursors to these same molecules in early mammal fossil records dating back more than 200 million years. Your immune system built a venom counter-defense at approximately the same time that snakes were evolving their most sophisticated venom delivery systems. That is not an accident. That is an arms race, written into your molecular biology. Here is the part that reframes the entire allergy conversation. The IgE system is fast because venom requires a fast response. It is aggressive because venom requires an aggressive response. It concentrates at skin and airways because that is where venom enters. It causes swelling specifically at the site of exposure because local swelling slows the spread of venom through tissue. Every feature of the allergic response that seems excessive or disproportionate when applied to pollen makes complete and obvious sense when you understand it was built for snakes. Your immune system did not evolve a venom defense and a parasite defense separately. It evolved one system that handles both, because both threats kill you through your skin and airways. Both involve foreign proteins entering body tissue. Both can be countered by the same rapid, aggressive expulsion and degradation response. One system, 220 million years of deadly serious field testing. The only problem is dosage. The IgE system evolved in an environment where the difference between a small amount of venom and a large amount was the difference between alive and dead, where the difference between a few parasite larvae and a full infestation played out over years of slow deterioration. It needed to be fast, aggressive, impossible to ignore. There was never any evolutionary pressure to make it calm. There was never any pressure to make it proportional. In the world it was built for, overcorrecting was a feature. A system that fires too aggressively on a harmless stimulus costs you some discomfort. A system that fires too slowly on venom costs you your life. And then two things happened. The first, we eliminated the threats. Over the last 200 years, sanitation, clean water, anti-parasitic medicine, and modern hygiene have essentially eradicated helminth infections from industrialized populations. The organisms that IgE spent 220 million years calibrating against are simply not present anymore. Not in your gut, not in your water, not in your food. But the system is still there, fully armed, scanning constantly. And here is the critical insight from decades of research into what happens when immune systems have nothing real to do. They do not stand down. Laboratory mice raised in completely sterile conditions with zero parasite exposure across their entire lives develop profoundly different immune baselines than wild mice raised in normal conditions. The lab mice have immune systems in a state of constant high alert with no genuine targets. A bored immune system in a high alert state does not become a quiet immune system. It becomes a trigger-happy one. The second thing that happened, we surrounded ourselves with proteins that to a 200-million-year-old pattern recognition system look suspicious. Grass pollen contains proteins with structural similarities to proteins found on the surfaces of parasitic worms. Peanut proteins share structural features with certain helminth proteins. Dust mite waste, which is present in essentially every house on Earth, in your mattress, your carpets, your upholstered furniture, contains proteins that are chemically similar to insect venom components. Your immune system is not being irrational. It is applying 220 million years of accumulated threat intelligence to a world that changed faster than evolution can track. The pollen is not dangerous, but it looks molecularly like something that was. Did our ancestors sneeze in spring? Here's the question this whole video has been building toward, and it is one that almost nobody asks. If the IgE system is ancient, and if pollen proteins have probably resembled parasite proteins for as long as grasses have existed, which is a very long time, then why aren't there ancient records full of allergy sufferers? The answer has two parts, and both of them change how you think about your own immune system. The first part, they were busy. For virtually all of human prehistory, the IgE system was running at full capacity against actual targets. Parasitic infections were endemic, constant. A child growing up in a pre-modern environment almost certainly had multiple concurrent helminth infections. Their immune system was not bored. It was not casting around for suspicious proteins. It was actively engaged in a continuous, ongoing battle against real organisms trying to take up permanent residence in their gut. Research on this is striking. Populations that still live with endemic parasite exposure today, parts of Africa, Asia, Latin America where helminths remain common, have dramatically lower rates of allergic disease than populations where parasites were eliminated. Not somewhat lower, dramatically lower. When the real threat is present, the system focuses. When the real threat disappears, the system starts noticing things it would otherwise have ignored. The hygiene hypothesis, now more precisely called the old friends hypothesis, is built on exactly this observation. The immune system did not evolve in a sterile environment. It evolved in an environment full of microorganisms, parasites, and constant microbial challenge. Remove that challenge and you do not get a calmer immune system. You get an untrained one looking for targets. The second part, anaphylaxis, was always rare. The most dangerous form of allergic reaction, anaphylaxis, full systemic shock, airway swelling, blood pressure collapse, does occasionally appear in the historical record. The pharaoh Menes of Egypt reportedly died from a wasp sting around 2641 BCE, which historians of medicine describe as the earliest probable recorded anaphylactic death. The Ebers Papyrus, an Egyptian medical text from around 1650 BCE, contains descriptions that closely resemble what we would now recognize as asthma management, so severe allergic reactions happened. They were not invisible, but here is the epidemiological reality. Even today, in modern populations with high allergy rates, with all the environmental changes that have made the immune system more reactive than at any point in human history, fatal anaphylaxis remains extraordinarily rare, less than 1 death per million people per year. A system that spent 220 million years being pressure tested against genuine threats, occasionally misfires catastrophically, but almost never fatally, because the fundamental engineering is sound. The IgE system is not a mistake that evolution failed to correct. It is a system that worked brilliantly for 220 million years, is working exactly as designed right now, and happens to be deployed in an environment that its design specifications never anticipated. So here's what is actually happening when your eyes swell shut on a Tuesday in May. Your immune system contains a 220 million year old weapon. It was built to evict parasitic worms from your gut and to neutralize snake venom before it reached your bloodstream. It was calibrated in an environment where those threats were constant, where getting it wrong meant death, and where there was never any evolutionary pressure to make it gentle or proportional. That system is now scanning a world that has no worms in the water and very few venomous snakes in the vicinity. And it is finding pollen proteins that look to a very old and very serious threat recognition system like something worth taking seriously. The sneezing is a deworming mechanism. The swelling is a venom containment response. The itching is a surface threat removal protocol. None of it is aimed at the oak tree outside your window. All of it is aimed at dangers your ancestors faced before the concept of spring allergies existed. Your immune system is not confused. It is not broken. It is doing exactly what 220 million years of survival pressure shaped it to do. You just live in a world that cleaned itself up faster than evolution could follow. And that, in a very real sense, is the story of quite a lot of being human.